Hey, good morning, folks. Thanks so much for joining me. We are jumping into a press conference that started at the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. They're giving their year in review.
It can be a challenge. So 150, we spent a lot of time prepping for 150 and saying, okay, we need to do better than we did Derby 149. Had some weather in 149, but 150, we knew it was going to be a challenge. We talked to TSA into adding more TSA checkpoints. We went from 5 checkpoints to 7 checkpoints. Derby 150 was our busiest derby ever. The Wednesday through Friday, 34,000 seats in the market. Departures Sunday and Monday, 27. It used to be just Departure Sunday, and it's Departure Sunday and Monday now, 27,000 seats, 16 new routes. And what we're looking at right now for 151, we're seeing right now more capacity, more nonstop routes in the market. So we think 151 is going to probably shatter the 150 record. So it was really the first time we had ramp control, where we were controlling the traffic in the ramp, out of the ramp, to make sure Sunday went smooth. It was an amazing 150. We went probably, I think the longest wait time we had at TSA checkpoint was 25 minutes. And so when you think about 27,000 people going through the market, going through that TSA checkpoint, the bottleneck, and having it operate as smooth as it did is really just great planning, great support from all our partners. And it was a fantastic 150. And again, we hope for good weather, and we think 151 will be busier than 150. So when you have all this growth, one of the things that we wanted to be better than all our other airports is customer service. We have more customers, sometimes as first-time customers, sometimes as people coming to Louisville for the very first time. And we want to make sure our airport is a proud gateway and do things that are unique to the airport business. And so we made a decision this last year to hire what I call fixers and fillers. It's a whole department of folks that just focus on customer service. And this is not something that airports are really doing. But as the airlines have maybe some challenges with their folks and staffing, we thought it was imperative to bring people in that will help those airline customers get through our system as quickly and efficiently as possible. And so we've hired these ops coordinators. They help people at the checkpoint. So if there's a delay at the ticket counter, they will help people get through the checkpoint. They'll throw bags. They're all certified to do ground handling, so they can throw bags if they have to. And it's just been a great success. In fact, we were hearing a lot about the check after you get off the airplane, how long it takes to get a bag. We started tracking that. Fixers and fillers are helping the airlines with this, and we're seeing now 96% of our bags are at the baggage belt within 30 minutes. And so that is a major improvement, and something that, again, I think we're pretty proud of here. And it really comes about because we have people that focus on the customer service component of it. Another addition we had this year, people were clamoring for Derby 149, was Clear. Clear is a way to, it's almost like pre-check. You can get through the checkpoint quicker. We were the first airport in the country to have mobile Clear. Since they've been here, they've had 80,000 people screened. So Clear has just been phenomenal success. And we weren't sure if they were going to stick around after Derby, but they had so many customers. They said, you know what, we want to keep this here permanently. So now we have TSA pre-check to make the travel smoother, and Clear mobile. So it's just all great wins. But the fixers and fillers, customer service, again, more air service, customer service is really what we're focusing on. Okay, so phase 2 of 2024, the customer piece of it, really successful. But gosh, the investment, we are intentionally investing in our facilities. We started fixing what I call the next most broken thing, to making sure that the airport had capacity and was improving the experience for the customer. When this is all said and done, we are working on a program, SDF Next, will run through 2030. When it's all said and done, we'll invest over $1 billion. Over $1 billion will be invested in our facilities. That's the terminal, roadways, and the airfield. Again, we really think about the airfield a lot because we have all the cargo operations. And so the airfield is, again, it's not something people really think about, but it's a massive part of our investment. But between now and 2030, $1 billion. To date, we've already invested $350 million to improve our facilities, and we still have a lot to go. This slide just talks about some of our safety, security, fixing jet bridges, moving walkways, It's been a lot. The geothermal phase 1 is complete. We'll be moving on to phase 2 of the geothermal, and then the final bit will be phase 3. So continuing to make sure the terminal's better than it was before. This is improving lighting, improving the efficiency of the airfield from the taxiways. It's a lot of work out there. The vault, again, not something people think about a lot, but something we have to make sure operates 24/7. And so we continue to invest in that airfield component of it. 2024, again, a focus on infrastructure. We worked on the geothermal, new baggage handling. Again, part of this new baggage handling was to make sure that the system worked and we could get the bags from the plane to the customer's hands so they can go home or start their vacation. So very, very important infrastructure upgrade there. On the airfield, the electrical vault, again, it's not something people think about, but you have to have power. Your lights and signs have to work all the time. And so we've invested in electrical vault. Taxiway Lima extension was to get aircraft on and off the air carrier ramp quicker and more efficiently, and then just maintaining the airfield. 25 through 26. Our infrastructure upgrades are accelerating. Again, we spent $350 million already, but this next 2 years are really going to see significant changes, primarily in the airport terminal. Our security checkpoint, we've already talked about how that is can be a bottleneck, and as we grow, it becomes more of a bottleneck. And so we started designing this probably 3 years ago, and we started construction on it already. And you'll see that when you do your tour later. But the checkpoint will go 30,000 square foot expansion to the facility, and $45 million. It will go from our 7 lanes now. One of our lanes is what I call a pop-up lane, but this will be all state-of-the-art TSA equipment in there. It'll be 10-lane capacity, which should take us out for the next 20 years for capacity. So amazing addition to the airport. The microgrid is a way for us to have backup power to the terminal. So if something catastrophic happens with our power system, this microgrid will allow the terminal to operate for 72 hours just off of the microgrid. So again, all about the safety and security and making sure we're doing this as efficiently as possible. The terminal roadway realignment. This roadway is probably the most exciting. We're doing a lot, and I don't know why I get so excited about roads, but every time I'm down here in the evenings, if you're dropping customers off or picking customers up, you'll see a backup around baggage claim. This roadway realignment moves the roads, adds a cell phone waiting lot, and again, as we grow capacity, it allows us to accommodate that traffic on the east side of the airfield for probably another 15 years. It's a major project. It's going to be it'll be the most significant customer service improvement we do. The checkpoint, microgrid, those are great. We needed to do them, but this roadway is something everybody sees when they come out to the airport. So if you're dropping off in the morning, it's going to be better. If you're picking up in the afternoon, a baggage claim, it'll be better. And the cell phone waiting lot before you get to the terminal is imperative. We just didn't have that now. You had to go past the terminal, and folks just didn't feel comfortable doing that. So the cell phone waiting lot is going to be a major upgrade. The airfield can, again, continue to invest in the airfield. So I'll talk a little bit about cargo after this, but you see these airfield things and it's like, okay, why are we doing this? So Taxiway Bravo, heavily trafficked by cargo. It's a lot of wear and tear. So we are investing in Taxiway Bravo. It's our probably our most deteriorated piece of payment out there. The next 3 years, we'll really be working on Bravo so we can accommodate UPS and UPS growth. The electrical vault. So we have one vault out there, and again, we rely on that and power failures. Really important. We thought to have a second vault in case something happens with the first one. We can throw a switch, and we have a west vault. Again, it's a redundant system, but when you're having 24-hour operations like we have with the air carriers and cargo, it's imperative that the airfield always works. And so, investing in the electrical vault out there, it's going to be a fun project. Future. So, 25, 26 are going to be really busy. But when you move into between 26 and 30, there's still a lot of work to be done. Another parking garage, more exterior work, more roadway work. It's going to be a lot of upgrades. The canopy on the upper level, it's going to look amazing. It's going to be efficient. It's going to be great for the customer. I mentioned a lot about the cargo side of things. Primarily, the investment in the airfield is to accommodate cargo. Last year, UPS was the third busiest cargo airport in North America. The last quarter of 2024, UPS was the number one, this airport, number one cargo in North America. We think 2025 will be the busiest cargo airport in North America and maybe the third busiest cargo airport in the world. So this cargo operation continues to grow. We can continue to invest in to make sure that as UPS is growing, we're accommodating that growth. But when you think about little old Louisville being number one cargo airport in North America, it's pretty amazing. And then moving up the worldwide rankings as well. So pretty cool stat. There's a list from 23. 24's data is not out yet. That said, our fourth quarter, we passed Memphis for cargo. So pretty amazing. That primarily is UPS picking up the Postal Service contract. FedEx had it out of Memphis. They dropped it. UPS picked it up. And so we're just seeing that significant growth. It's changed the traffic patterns for us. It's more difficult to get out there and maintain the pavement. But they're great. UPS is a great partner to work with. And they allow us to get on the airfield so we can continue to make their operation go better. Economic impact, we've talked about this a lot. Obviously, because the airport's here, it's jobs, it's infrastructure, it's medical supply chain that goes all over the world. We've invested a lot in the airport. We have not had to incur any more debt. We're not on the tax rolls. In fact, because the airport's here, we're generating about $450 million back to the state and local tax rolls. So really significant part of the economic engine. And then the last piece of this, what are we doing? We are basically here for our customer. We're here for our cargo operations. We are here to make Louisville better. And so we just want to be the best airport in class in the country, and we're working towards that every day. Our investments show that we're making progress, and the community is responding by flying out of our airport. So we think 25 is going to be great, and we are really looking forward to SDF Next, the things we're going to be working on for the next 6 years. And after that 6 years is up, there'll be another line of projects, probably not $1 billion, but the investment never ends. That's all I have for canned remarks. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
I do, Dan.
Yes, ma'am.
News. The tone around traveling by air right now is a bit questionable. We saw two most recent deadly plane crashes in Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. Do you have any concerns that could affect the momentum in Louisville, with people just having a bit of maybe even fear and anxiety about it?
Yeah, I think short term it probably has an impact, but long term air travel remains the safest mode of travel in the world. And so short term perhaps, but I think long term people need to get to where they're going for business. The leisure traveler still wants to go on vacation. Louisville's still a destination for both business and tourism. So we're not terribly concerned, and we're looking out over the horizon for our capacity growth. We're still getting more capacity, so we're pretty confident. And again, that was tragic. It hasn't happened in a long time, and the FAA tower, they're fantastic. So we feel pretty comfortable growth is going to continue.
Has the FAA updated any safety protocol or any guidance that way?
I think they're working on airspace issues. They continue to work on airspace. We just had some airspace changes here to make it more efficient, not so much for safety, but more efficient. We haven't got any new guidance here, though. I mean, the guidance we have is pretty routine. So I suspect some of the busier airports will get something out of this. Again, there's going to be lessons learned, and the system is going to get safer and safer as we go through this. So we're pretty optimistic.
Anybody who goes to the airport is constantly seeing something under construction, and there's a lot of very visible projects underway right now that are very visible to passengers. What do you say to passengers who see all this and want to know what's going on? Because it seems to always be there, and it always seems to be, in some ways, impeding or changing the landscape for them constantly here.
Yeah, so that's part of the fixers and fillers. We have the volunteer group that are there. Our ambassadors are there all the time. And then the fixers and fillers are there to talk about this. Is the folks that are basically dedicated to the airport terminal. This level of construction is It really is everywhere. It's you see cranes up primarily right now on the land side, but we are moving to the air side. So you'll see land side construction and air side construction. But our ops coordinators are there to answer questions, to help navigate that. And we do put a lot out to our tenants. So every month we'll have a tenant meeting where we educate the tenants on mainly the airlines about what's happening in concessions, so they can talk to the customers, because sometimes we don't see them. They'll, oh my gosh, Kentucky Fried Chicken is closed. How long is that going to happen? So it's constant. And I don't know that we'll ever be able to communicate as well as we should, but we've got a group that's dedicated to that, and we have a presence in the terminal all the time. But there's a lot of construction in it. Like I said, it's not slowing down. It's actually accelerating. You'll see a lot more activity on the land side in the next year and a half.
Is there anything you can speak to as far as staffing or training as it relates to maybe air traffic control officials in wake of the president's comments?
Yeah, not on the air traffic side. The FAA, that's they handle all the training and the hiring of that, so we don't have much to speak on there. I can tell you, my operations department, maintenance, we have safety inspections. They're required by the FAA, Part 139. We do that every year. We dedicate a ton of time and energy. Again, a whole department really is based on finding deficiencies in the airfield, identifying them, and maintenance then goes out and fixes them. So safety, the operation of the airfield is, I mean, I talk about priorities of air service and infrastructure, but that safety and security, that overlays everything we do. And again, I have a whole department that 24/7, they're out here to make sure that the airfield is in the best shape possible. And that's why we're investing in the vault too. So if the power goes out, it's like that, and we've got backup power and a second vault to do that. So again, safety and security overlays everything we do.
I'm going to try my previous question again in a different way. I'm trying to articulate this from the casual traveler. When I see all this stuff going on in the airport, should I be annoyed or should I be impressed?
I like that. You should be impressed. We're still doing this 24/7. We're making all these improvements, investing all this money. We're still running actually more customers are coming through our airport than ever before. And I think we're doing a great job really accommodating them with adding 2 more lanes temporary until the construction happens. We're making this investment without adding a tax burden to our customers, and basically building a facility that the region is going to need and use for the next 20 years. I think it's been really good. A little bit of a headache now and again, but by and large, we've had great customer experience feedback about all the construction. And the other part of that is they'll see something, folks maybe only travel 2-3 times a year, they'll see the barrier walls up, they'll come back maybe in 4 months, the barrier walls are down, and they have all new bag belts or brand new restrooms. And so they say, oh, wow, that's what's happening behind that wall. So I think if you only see it once, it's like, oh my, they're building a lot. But if you come back every 3 months, you come back and it's like, this is really amazing. One of the things that I saw the drawings of the new gift shops on the land side, that those walls were up for, I don't know, maybe 2 months when they came down. It's just amazing what's happened with the concessions up there. And so same thing will happen another month and a half. The walls will come down where Kentucky Fried Chicken is and Starbucks, and it's just going to look amazing. So I think people are saying they see the walls and then they come back and they see the progress, and it's really been well received.
Well, I've got one more, and this is sort of a chicken or the egg question. With everything that's going on, are you staying ahead of the demand, or are you playing catch up, or is it a combination of both?
It really is a combination. So coming out of COVID, I mean, everybody quit flying. We recovered much quicker, I think, than we thought we would. So we got ahead of it a little bit. We knew when people weren't, we knew we had to do a lot of work in the terminal. And so when there were no customers, we accelerated our capital investment in the terminal. But then recovery started, and recovery came on a lot faster. I mean, 22, 23, 24, they're all record setting. Where we got behind, frankly, the checkpoint was a bottleneck for us. We had to scramble to get 2 more checkpoint lines, really drove this checkpoint expansion. So we're okay now, but the checkpoint, it'll open and we'll be ready for that from the capacity we have. Our biggest bottleneck we had after the checkpoint was parking. So when you think about an RJ with maybe 70 seats, you didn't have parking constraints because you didn't have 150 people parking, getting on the plane. The plane comes back, those people have to come out. So what we really saw was our parking was filling up and then emptying out. And so parking was our biggest issue probably a year and a half ago. Since then, we've added about 155 parking spots to get through that temporary pitch. This year, before Memorial Day, we'll have another 700 parking spots available. And we're planning for a new parking deck. So that was one where we got behind the curve. We're good right now, but until we get that 7-acre lot open, it'll be tough. So, but yeah, that was our biggest area where capacity kind of caught us. We're in good shape right now. We added to the shuttle lot out here, so we got capacity there. It's I think we'll be in good shape for this summer. And frankly, when we add the parking deck, that probably takes us out to the 30-year horizon on capacity for parking. The next step, we didn't talk about it a lot here, but as we start looking at our terminal footprint, adding a customs inspection so we can have the international travel, adding 2 gates, we have ability to expand there. And so we're looking at, and we're already thinking, it's not a 2030 plan, but we're already looking and saying, okay, what can we do 2030, 2035 to make sure that we're continuing to stay ahead of the capacity and the growth. And the FIS is next. That'll be about a 30,000 square foot expansion, 2 more jet bridges. It'll be able to use for domestic and international traffic. So we constantly are thinking about the growth, and again, really upbeat on the region and where we're going. All right. Thanks, everybody. Stick around for the tour. It's a good one. I think the thing that's going to be interesting on the tour is looking at the taxiway Lima, the EMAS.